guys, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to Coffee Cake Travels. My name is Katie. If you've not seen me before, then hi, this is Prince. He'll be visiting us on my videos. He'll probably fall asleep in a minute. Today is going to be a nice chilled out video because I am sick, unfortunately. I have a cold and so I don't really have the energy to go walking around and taking videos, unfortunately. And also it's Boxing Day weekend, so everything is closed. I managed to take a few little videos, like some B-reel, but it is Boxing Day, so it's very quiet and there's not much going on. So I'm just going to do a chilled one today and we'll get started with the proper videos in the new year. Because I can't go out and get coffee and cake, which I would love to do, I am having a oat latte at home. And I do have some chocolate that I got for Christmas, so I'll be having my coffee and cake, you know. Anyway, by the way, if my throat sounds a bit croaky, I do apologise. Just bear with me. So today's video is going to be about Wigan. I think Wigan gets a bad rep. It is, if you don't know, Wigan is like a 40-minute drive from Manchester. It's classed as Greater Manchester. It is a little city centre. And I think it gets a bad rep. People say it's not a very nice area, there's not much to do there, but I went for a little day out and I had a look around and I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. So I'd like to tell you a few things that you can do in Wigan for free. The first thing that you can do in Wigan for free is the face of Wigan, which is the sculpture that they have there. It is an 18-foot head. It's a full shape of a head. But the back of the head is steps. And the first time I saw it out of the blue, I was like, whoa, it's like just around the corner and you don't really expect to see it. But the artist who made the sculpture in 2008, he is called Rick Kirby. And he said that he didn't base the head on any celebrity or anyone in particular, but instead he based the face on all of the people that he sees in Wigan and the community and like how it is like a normal face and a normal head. It's not like a perfect person, and that it's supposed to represent all the different people and like walks of life in Wigan. So I definitely recommend popping over to see that. It is really quite something. It is quite ominous when you first look at it because it is so big. It's in a place called Believe Square, and while you are there you can have a look at another sculpture. There is a rugby player sculpture if you're into rugby, and then there is like a nice little quaint alleyway which has some nice restaurants on it, and it's called the Weend, and it has a few like bars and it's quite nice, so I recommend looking down there as well. The next thing you can do for free in Wigan is window shopping. So I'll give you a few recommendations of places that you can visit. There are 3 arcades. There is the Grand Arcade, which is the biggest one that has like most of the kind of like branded shops like New Look and River Island and Claire's and that sort of thing. A few individual shops in there as well. There is like a game shop and a Waterstones and some other quirky bits. I had a look around the Waterstones because I love reading, and so I had to have a look around there. And because it's Boxing Day, because it was Boxing Day, there was loads of sales on and 50% off. So I had a ball looking around there. So yeah, there's the Grand Arcade. Then there is the Makinson Arcade, which is just opposite the Grand Arcade, and there are lots of like independent shops in there. Lots of quirky little bits and quirky little independent shops. And then there is a little bit further down the main street, there is an arcade called Barton Arcade, which is quite old-fashioned, which I quite like. It has like black and white tiled flooring. And there is an antique shop in there. There's some cafes, and they're all very quirky and like old-fashioned. And so yeah, people do say there's not a lot of things to do in Wigan, like in regards to shopping and like buying things, but I think it's actually really good if you know where to look. The third place I recommend is the Wigan Life Museum. Didn't actually get to go in there. Again, it was Boxing Day. I should have picked a different day to go. But I'm pretty sure it is free and they have different exhibitions. But it's all about like Wigan and the town. And it has things like, I'm pretty sure it's got things to do with like mining. Wigan is a mining town, so there's lots of like statues and things to represent the miners from back in the day. The Wigan Museum is not far from the centre at all. It's literally down one of the side streets. I would say it's about a 2-minute walk from the Grand Arcade. So yeah, I definitely recommend nipping to the museum as well. You might as well if it's free, and you never know what you might find out about the area. So number 4 is there is a park called the Mains, which is probably around a 10-minute walk away from the proper centre. But the Mains is lovely, and a lot of people in Wigan just call it Wigan Park. It's lots of like grassy area, There's like a big cafe in the middle. There is lots of statues, there's a fountain, there's a little duck pond. Now, if you like animals and wildlife, that is a lovely little area to go visit. The fifth thing to do for free in Wigan is to go to my favourite place to visit, Hay Hall. It is very close to visit by car. I would say like 5 minutes to drive. But if you're walking, I would say it's around about half an hour to get to the gates of the Hay Hall. And then it is this huge foresty area with different paths kind of leading up to the main bit at the top. It can take like round about an hour to get from the gates, the plantation gates, that's what they're called, to the actual centre where there's like a cafe, there's a farm shop, there's a playground, a big pond, and that's right at the top of the whole park. And there's a big hall as well, which is gorgeous, and the view over Wigan is beautiful. And I really do love going to Hay Hall, so I definitely recommend it. So those are my top 5 things to do. That is my recommendation if you're going to go there on a weekend or a day out. And I will just tell you a few things like my opinions of the area as well, and I'll give you some kind of like some quick pros and cons. So some of the pros is they have like quite nice historical buildings. There's a beautiful town hall, which is very old. Also have like in the centre, a lot of the shops are painted Tudor style with the white and the black like beams, and they are gorgeous. There are lots of shops. It's perfect for Christmas shopping. Highly recommend it. There are a lot of cafes, things like Cafe Nero and Starbucks, but there are also independent cafes as well. I will say that there's not many restaurants. There's only a couple of restaurants that I can think of, maybe like 2, and then you have like the generic pubs like Wetherspoons, but there's not many places to actually eat out. There's like McDonald's and things, but there's not really many sit-down places for meals. So Wigan is also like quite a big town for like going out. Like there's a big nightlife in Wigan. I've not gone out there before because I'm not a big drinker or like partier, but I have a few friends that go around Wigan on nights out and they love it. They think it's great. And there's a big street called King Street. They have loads of different bars on there and clubs, and it's thriving apparently. Oh, and then also, yeah, so it is cheaper for food as well in Wigan. Like, you know, it's not super expensive. Manchester City Centre, you're going to be paying a lot more money for your food and even for your coffee. Some negative things that I noticed when I was there, which probably is something that I would notice more being by myself than if I was with my partner, because there is a big nightlife there. Going on like a Boxing Day, there was a lot of people who were drunk, and you know what, do your thing. I don't usually mind, it's fine. But being by yourself and kind of like having to walk through that, it's quite scary. And there was a lot of like drunk people kind of on their own, like just loitering and things. So that is kind of like a different area of the main centre though. There's like a street which is like I said, with all the bars on it, which is where that was happening. When you walk towards like the Grand Arcade and the shopping centre part, you don't tend to get any of the drunks there. If you are traveling by yourself, just to be careful and to be wary of maybe the time of day you're traveling. I'm making it sound really dangerous, and it's not, but there are just a few like dodgy characters which you get everywhere. But I think in places like Manchester City Centre, it's so busy that you don't really notice it. You don't really get that bothered because it's like if something was to happen, there are people around you, and so you don't think it would. Whereas Wigan's quieter, and so there's quieter streets and there's quieter like areas, which so it means that you might be by yourself when you come across these people. Don't let it stop you from going. Don't let it ruin your day. Definitely go and definitely explore. Just be mindful. The last kind of negative that I will say is that there's not like many things to do, and I think it's because it is a small kind of like city centre. You know, it would be nice to have had some like art galleries or some more museums. Even a cinema would have been nice. And from what I've heard, they are building a huge food court. They're building a huge cinema. So there is actually going to be all that stuff that I mentioned coming to Wigan in the next few years. So maybe I will go back and I'll do another video with all the new things. So thank you so much for watching this video. I am sorry that it is another talking head video. I will definitely try and get out next week. Have an amazing day. Have a really good new year. And I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye. You want to say goodbye? You want to say goodbye to the camera? No? No.